All right, everybody. We finally are getting some cooler weather here in Texas. Can whip out the long sleeve stuff, but we're going to be talking about something that is not cool today, and that is going to be the Texas Longhorns offense inside the red zone. It's a problem right now, but at the end of the day, the Texas Longhorns, our Big 12 championship game hopes, still on the table, as are the playoff hopes, because we go undefeated, we win the championship game, possibly a playoff team, but that's a story for another video. Those things will become more clear. I'll be going over the Big 12 tomorrow, more in depth. But we're not going to be able to make it to the Big 12 championship game if we don't fix these offensive issues, and specifically looking at the red zone. Now, we did get some. And before I get into this, drop a like on the video if you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and then comment down below your thoughts on this video. It does help out a lot, and I really do appreciate it. I work hard on all these videos. And yeah, I know I took a little bit of a week hiatus, had a little bit of a bye week here, but we're right back on into it, and we're going to be giving y'all some of the advanced statistics that y'all want and need. So, like I said, we're going to hop right on into it and a little bit more in depth now. When you lose the center, Jake Majors, who is one of the upperclassmen on the offensive linemen, he had a lot of doubters this year going into the year. Probably you could add me in there, although I was probably on the lesser side of the doubters, but still doubted him. He's performed a lot more than I thought he would. But you can never question his mental ability, as far as like his ability to be almost like a coach on the field. He's a very smart football player, and not just smart, but football smart. And to lose him, that's a big blow for this Texas offensive line. Now Connor Robertson, he stepped up, and he stepped up just about as good as good as you could expect a true freshman. Not true freshman, but as good as you could expect a guy making his first start inside a game like the Red River. There's maybe 2 to 3 games outside of the Texas and OU game that probably had the same level of, oh crap, let's see what this kid can do. Might be getting Cole Hudson back. That's going to be huge for us. So, I mean, it all starts with the snap of the football, and you cannot talk about this without pointing out, hey, we have lost our center, and we have the backup and third string guy that they're going to need to step up in a big way. Because even with our first string guy, we were having these issues, and it just adds to the level of, oh crap, we got to get this figured out and solved. So the Texas Longhorns have had 24 attempts in the red zone. Now, I understand you can possibly score 8 points, you can get a touchdown, go for 2 points, but unless your name is Dan Lanning or the game is on the line, you're not going to be doing that, and it's going to be very situationally, very specific depending on the situation that you go and you go for 2. But so we will assume 7 points is the max. The Texas Longhorns, like I said, 24 attempts in the red zone. We have, if you were to say 100% of those attempts you score, that's 168 total points. The Texas Longhorns have scored 104 points when we get into the red zone. Now, 27 of those points are on the field goal team, and then 77 of those points are coming from the Texas Longhorns putting the ball in the end zone. But if you've heard Sarkisian, you know he got a little snarky when he got asked this question a couple weeks ago, and it's gotten worse. We were 108th in the nation as far as putting the ball in the red zone. Now we're 122nd. We're either the fourth or fifth worst Power 5 team. In the Power 5, as far as putting the ball in the end zone, right now it is bad. But so we've scored a 61.9% total of the possible points that we can when we get the ball into the end zone or red zone. This has got to change. And against Oklahoma, we only had 3 points, and we got 3 points, 3 red zone attempts. There's the game. There's the game lost. Because even if we're kicking field goals, at the end of the day, when you're kicking a field goal, you're losing 4 points. you're losing 4 points. The more field goals you kick, the more times, hey, we've just lost 4 points. We could have had 4 more points on the board. And this honestly could be extended outside the red zone, but it's just in the red zone, it's glaringly obvious. I mean, at this point, I almost feel more confident in the team scoring when we're outside the red zone than we're not. And let me just see if I can find some numbers on that real quickly. So the best way that I can kind of like go through and show you how different the numbers are is we've scored 11 touchdowns in the red zone and 9 field goals have come in the red zone. That's 9 of 12 field goals are in the red zone. So when we get closer, we're kicking the ball more frequently. 11 of 25 touchdowns have come inside the red zone. So we're scoring touchdowns more frequently outside of the red zone. Now, I don't have the amount of attempt. We could have a lot more attempts, and that probably is the case. I can actually I will give an update for those that are curious in tomorrow's video with the full attempt numbers every time that we've gotten across the 50. So similar to a red zone attempt number. And I'll say actually from the 40, because that's when you can actually get into, okay, we're either kicking a field goal or we're scoring a touchdown. But at the end of the day, the best way to look at this is the ratio is almost a 1-to-1 ratio of touchdowns to field goals kicked. 11 touchdowns to 9 field goals kicked. That's almost 1-to-1. The touchdowns to field goals kicked outside, just as a total, as a whole, is 25-12. That's almost a 2-to-1. But when you're going and you're talking about outside of the 20, it is a 14-to-3 touchdown to field goal ratio. 14-3 compared to 11-9. That's just, to me, that's a glaring difference, and it's a massive issue. It's something that we need to get solved. And I will say this: I've been on the fence of saying, hey, I think we're a very balanced attack. I think we're a very balanced team. I don't have an issue with how Steve Sarkisian's calling plays. I might change on that now. I might say we need to start becoming more of a high-flying offense. We need to start seeing more of these explosive pass plays and trying to get these explosive pass plays. Because the way that we're playing football, the complementary nature of the way that we want to, go about trying to win games, does not match up with not doing well in the red zone. You got to be able to punch the ball in the red zone. So this is a massive issue for Texas. On it, obviously, this has been talked about from high and far, but I just want to go into the numbers and show in depth a little bit. Go peek behind the curtains just a little bit more to show y'all, hey, this is how glaring of a difference it is when you're talking about the percentage of points scored, possibly, and outside the red zone versus inside the red zone. It's a massive difference. And when we're walking away with 61.9% of points, we got to do better. And to put that in perspective, that's 14% of the points versus Oklahoma. Like, we were a terribly inefficient offense when we get into the red zone. And you know what? At the end of the day, the buck starts with the offensive line. You just got to win up front. Another big red zone issue. Here, I'll put this. I actually don't have the chart. Never mind. Sorry. I know it's inaccurate is what a couple of the shadings are. But when we get inside the 2-yard line, okay, we've had 13 times that we've attempted a play within the 2-yard line. So 2 or 1 yard line on the doorstep of the end zone. We've only moved the ball forward 5 times. And 6 times you could consider, but I'm not going to count that 6th time, because that 6th time was a screen pass to Worthy where we still didn't get the ball in the end zone and we turned the ball over on downs. So at the end of the day, okay, congratulations. You moved the ball a yard from the 2-yard line. Now Oklahoma's got the ball. So we're 5 of 13 within the 2-yard line, and that's an issue. You got it. Like, we have to have a higher percentage in the 2-yard line. I don't know. Look, as big of a Jonathan Brooks fan as I am, y'all know I am. I'm massive, right? He's just, for whatever reason, whatever it is, it's not working in the red zone. It's not working on the goal line with him. Now, maybe that's his fault. Maybe that's off. I don't know whose fault it is. But at the end of the day, I know if there's a square peg and round hole, you can't just kind of try and jam it inside there. And honestly, if you were to, remove those numbers of Jonathan Brooks inside the red zone, it shows just how special he is as a running back outside of the red zone. I mean, this dude is absolutely on a tear. He's having a very special season. And these numbers are actually, they're hindering it. They're hurting it. So, I mean, at the end of the day, this is something that I can't sit here and tell you I think that this is going to get solved. I can't tell you that. I want it to get solved. I know it's an issue. Do I know it will happen? Not so sure. But at the end of the day, I do know we have to get it solved, or else we will be suffering a loss somewhere else on the schedule. So, all right, everybody, not a Kool-Aid filled video, but a realistic one nonetheless. And with that being said, hope you all have a great day. And as always, hook 'em!